suicide. And our interest is to have a conversation on suicide. I'd like you to just um, share the link with your friends. I think we did this last year, and this year we're continuing. The plan is that we want you to have a conversation on suicide and open up, share your thoughts, open up and tell us what the problem is. Um, and anybody who's going through some kind of emotional problems, difficulties, hard times, we want you to just open up and share with us. And let's know what the issues are. I'm also going to be getting very practical with you and to share a lot of a lot of nuggets with you on how to help persons who are suicidal. The best way of providing help. A lot of our talk will be interspersed sometimes with some of our research findings and what we see in, for example, in Ghana, in Africa, and globally. Remember, every life is important. Every life. And I have been in this area researching, advocating, providing psychosocial support, psychotherapy, and all ways of trying to help people who are going through crisis of all sorts. It's something I've been doing since 2008 until now, and I'm very passionate about it. So I want to thank you for joining and for sharing the link. I'll give you the next 1 minute. Please share the link. Invite your friend to join. We want all of you to join. We want all of you to join. I am going to share the link. I'm picking my phone and I'm going to share the link so that others can join. It's very important. So please pick your phone and share the link. This is going to be a very good time. Um, and people are going to learn a lot. Going to learn a lot on how to prevent someone from taking his or her life. So please um, join. Join. I want to see you on changing the narrative on suicide. Changing the narrative on suicide. You know, when I when I when I got into this area, I somebody asked me, "Why are you into suicide prevention?" And he asked me funnily. He said, "Is your area rather encouraging people to take their lives?" It was the field was and continues to be so stigmatized that if you work within this field, you are rather seen as somebody who rather encourages others to end their lives. So talk to me. Join and let's learn something. Join and let's learn something. Not too long ago, somebody told me that a relative was suicidal. And then he said, let me put it in Twi and I'll render it in English for our international audience. He said, and I person who catch me. Now, oh, dear, so be a bill. Two person who come catch me. What he's saying is that he's telling the world who wanted to die, if you wanted to kill yourself, at least tell me. After that, for death, all of us will die. So why did you hide it from me? You know, and it was so hurt that the relative didn't tell her that uh, she wanted to die. But you will learn this week. It's something. This is a series I'm doing until 10th September, as we did last year. When people are going through suicidal crisis, their thinking is different. The way they look at issues is different. The 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 challenges that they feel they are confronted with is different. Their understanding of what is happening to them is different. So so you have to understand them and relax. You have to understand them and relax. And so please come online. Come online. Um, invite your friends. Come online I'm going to ask my team to see whether the Facebook line is also ready so we can share. Team, is it ready? Yes, they are generating the Facebook link as well. Let's share. Let's invite our friends to join. We're changing the narrative. We're changing the narrative. You know, I asked somebody when we say somebody has killed himself, herself, what is it? And the person said it means the person is wicked and evil. Now listen to that carefully. He says that if you told him that you felt suicidal, you were wicked and evil. Think about that. But only wicked people can take life. This is the if this is the narrative, if this is the understanding about suicide, you can imagine that such a person isn't going to get any help. He isn't going to get any help because he's been written off completely. So when we say we want to talk on changing the narrative, but this particular theme is a 3-year theme for the International Association for Suicide Prevention. It started in 2024, changing the narrative on suicide. 2025, this year, changing the narrative on suicide. And then we are carrying this to 2026, changing the narrative on suicide because we've seen that that is so powerful. Remember that perceptions. So what are perceptions? Perceptions are the way people look at issues, the way they understand issues, the interpretive words they use in interpreting their world. That's your perception. The way you view complex things in the world. So, for example, some people, everything that happens to him or her is demonic. It's a perspective. Such a perception is woven around spirituals. So the person sees um, diabolical manipulation as a potential means, a potential way, or as means of, you know, not a means. He sees diabolical manipulation as one powerful shaper of his or her perspective. So when we say we are changing the narrative, we are saying that we want to shift your thought about suicide. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that we want to tell you that suicide is a lab. Just go ahead and kill yourself. That's not the point. That's not the point. When we say we are shifting your views about suicide, we are not saying that, all right, uh, professionals, suicidologists, mental health workers, those of you who work on suicide, we want all of you to say, all right, hooray. Now everybody goes through any problem when he is suicidal. We will clap our hands for him so that he can go ahead and end his life. That's not the point we're making. That's not the point we're making. When we say we are changing your perspective about suicide, we are really interested that we are changing your negative views about the person who says, I want to die. Because you see, if I came to you and I'm going through a problem and I said, I feel like killing myself, and then your view is, Lord of Jesus, you are a stupid guy, you're not wise. You'll start to rain insults on me. What you have done to me is that you've broken my confidence to speak to you. You've created a barrier between you and I. You have discouraged me from opening up to share my problems with you. And that will mean that you will not be able to help me. Think about that. I'm gonna think about that. So when we talk about changing the narrative, we want to change, to shift your view. We want to shift your view from, some of us, our views are often wrapped around cultural understandings of suicide. So, for example, if you look at Ghana, one of the cultural understandings of suicide is that it's demonic. Demons make people suicidal. Uh, Somebody told me that in Ghana, even malaria is demonic. Think about that. Eh? Even malaria is demonic. Is that the way they want to go? And is that the right approach to looking at suicide? So we want to be talking about some of the cultural misrepresentations of suicide and the suicidal person. Because once you see that the person is like demonic assault, maybe you may say, okay, let's pray for the person. And yet, what the person needs is not just prayer. And I'm not denigrating prayer at all. I'm just saying that perhaps in that instance, prayer isn't what the person needs. Do you know people can kill themselves because they are hungry? So maybe at that time, what the person needs is food. You have ever heard somebody, a story of somebody who was um, lying by the side of the road and onlookers were passing by. And some were saying that, well, let's take him to the hospital. Others were saying that, oh, let's leave him. Then somebody came closer and said, I think that he needs food. Then the person said, listen to that person. Listen to what the person is saying. So sometimes what we think others need as a way of helping them is not what actually what they need. But the question is, how do we know what they need? Very simple. Very simple. We know what they need if we will empathically, if we will patiently listen to them, right? Even if the person says, I want to die, take your time and listen to why the person says, I want to die. Listen to it. Because that is why you will get to know, oh, he wants to die because he's hungry. He wants to die because he has no job. He wants to die because the wife left him. He wants to die because the child is sick. He wants to die because so when you don't create barriers between you and others, then you are able to invite them into a space of supportive relationships. Did you hear that? When you don't put a barrier between you and others who are in suicidal crisis, then you are able to invite them into a space of supportive relationships. I think that's a good point to reflect on. But because of the many barriers, some of the barriers are that some of us are very angry. Anger is a barrier. When you meet somebody who is suicidal and tells you that I've gone through a problem, I want to die, and then you get angry, stop it, you are foolish boy, you're foolish girl, are you not wise? Huh? Your anger is a barrier. So changing the narrative is also saying that we're breaking all the barriers. It's a barrier. Sometimes the barrier is that you acted it's a barrier. The person says, oh, okay. Next time I'm going to tell anybody at all. I'm just going to go ahead and it. It's a barrier. For some people, your negative attitude towards it, even fear. The person told you, I've been thinking of ending my life. Suddenly, fear gripped you. It's a barrier because the person will not be able to continue to tell you what, what his plans are, the methods he wants to use, what he's thinking on. All of that, he lost it. And for some of you, of course, like I said, insults, shutting the person down. Silence. Don't say that again. All of these are cultural reactions. Cultural reactions. So it's very important. I'd like you to just join me the whole of this week throughout until 10th of September, when there will be the whole world is marking the suicide prevention day under the theme changing the narrative on suicide. When I got into this field, I told you that people were even telling me that I'm wasting my time. Why should I be interested in studying people who want to die. Because that's a terminal thing. If you want to die, it's the end of it. And somebody told me that it's a waste of my time. Work on people who are productive. They want to live. They are doing business, and they're bringing in money, and they are the shakers and the movers. So the people you have to spend your time on. Not those who want to die. They want to die, and then when I remember clearly that if we allow every life wasted, do you think we would have 8 billion people on earth? I'm not saying everybody will be suicidal, but that would mean that close about 700,000 people, as of now, a little over 700,000 people take their life every year. So if you say that everyone who wants to die should die, that's what I'm actually saying. Even that, when we are even working on prevention schemes, people are still taking their lives. So come online, come online, come online, come online. Um, Tim, have we gotten our social media on Facebook? Yeah, we will get it on Facebook pretty soon. Come online, come online. I hope that you are beginning to now um, appreciate this conversation as we did uh, last year. Are you open to people when they tell you they are going through problems? Some of us are very quick uh, to be offering advice when somebody wants to talk. There's nothing wrong with it, but there's something fundamentally wrong with that approach. As soon as somebody opens his mouth, you have an advice. You are not a listener. Now, who is a listener? A listener is somebody who wants to give room to anybody whatsoever is on his mind or her mind to come out, to share. After which, if he has a thought to share with the person, he shares. And he shares the thought with a lot of caution, a lot of empathy, and not judgmental. That's a listener. So if you have advice for everything, you may not listen to people all the time. Sometimes it's a little bit of just paying attention to be quiet and let the person finish. And then if you have a point to make, you can make. And I think that having worked in this field, one of the things that I want to draw your attention to is the lack of listenership. People don't get listened to. The lack of listenership. It's either people don't want to, they don't have the time to sit with you. This is a very fast-paced world. Everything is moving speedily. People are pursuing ambitions. They are pursuing, endeavors to bring in money. That the issue about helping others doesn't even come onto their mind at all. So the question is, are you listening? Are you listening to your son who sometimes wants to talk to you and then sighs and say, "Hmm," and walks away? Have you asked him to come back and continue the conversation? Your daughter, have you done so? And if you're a pastor, have you made time with that member who told you, Pastor, I wanted us to talk? Even if you could not meet the person face to face, have you placed the call? Think about it. Have you placed a call? Have you placed a call? Or as a teacher, that student who comes to class late, recently he comes to class late. Have you checked up on him why he comes to church, comes to a class late? Do that. Just do that and see. Why is he coming to class late recently? And when he comes, why is he not quiet? So I want to just draw your attention to very important points. And these are things that we haven't paid attention to. We feel like, what? I don't have the time here. And sometimes I have people who will tell me, families, they say, see, some will say, oh, I realized that he was quiet. And for some time now, he has been quiet, but I didn't know that he was going through a problem. Yeah, because you did not pay attention. You were not listening. So when we say we are changing the narrative, one of the things that we want you to pay attention to is ask yourself the question, have you listened? Empathy is your ability to place yourself in the shoes of others and get a sense that you understand what they are going through. That's empathy. If you're empathic, what you do is that you identify with people in their troubles and challenges. And when you listen, when you're empathic, then you can provide support. But you go into certain situations and contexts, people are not listening, people are not empathic, they are very judgmental. And if you live in a proscriptive culture like ours, we are a culture that identifies errors immediately. We want to just identify the errors in the way you are talking, the way you are behaving, the way you are carrying yourself. That's our culture. Most African cultures are like that. They are proscriptive. They are prohibitive. They tell you what not to do. So we've been raised in such context. So if you are very uh, unempathic, you're likely to be judgmental. And judgmentalism is when you want to find fault in the person. It expresses itself in insult. Somebody says that, well, I lost a job, I feel like dying, I want to die. Oh, don't be stupid, don't be foolish. Are you a witch? Are you a wizard? Eh, sometimes I ask myself, do people really know what it means to go through crisis? Have they really experienced some challenges in life? So if you have not, you're likely to just talk like that. But we are changing the narrative. We are changing the narrative. So invite your friend. And this week I'm going to be with you to share a lot of things with you. And then to also invite you to ask questions. And I'm here to address all your questions. You can put your questions in the chat room. Put your questions there. I'll pick the questions up. I'm here today. I'm here tomorrow. And we're going to be doing this. And each week we'll give you about 2, 3 days. We're doing this live. It's going to be very interesting. Okay. And I know some of you have had friends who have been suicidal and you know what went wrong. I'd like you to invite some of them to join. And if you have been suicidal, kindly join and tell us about your experience and what happened. Yeah. My team, the place is getting warm. So let's work on that. So very, very important for us to be looking that and like to let you um, join us to do this. Be part of it. Be part of it. It's going to be fantastic. Can we engage in open communication, very honest communication? Can you someone, uh, Kwesi, Kwejo Kwame, Johnson, Joseph? I see that lately you are quiet, you are withdrawn, you are not talking. Can you gently ask people why they are quiet? Open conversation on the matter so that you can invite the person to a space of honesty and free speech without the person feeling that you are going to judge the person. So open conversation, open discussion. If we are talking about suicide, in your home. Your son is going to write exams, JHS, SSL, BEC, SSC, or even the university, and he's taking it to be a do or die. So as a parent, you are put a lot of threats. If you don't pass, you'll not be in this house. You have to get all A's. And sometimes as parents, we want to live our dreams through that of our children. That's not fair. Can you ask your child, how do you feel about the scores? Today, a friend of mine was telling me about something. Um, she was telling me that she wrote exams and got 27 over, I think 30. And she said, "Oh no, I could have done better." And I said, "No, you did well. You did well. 27 over 30, it's like a high score. Okay. Are you going to tell your son, for example, no, I wanted it to get 100%? Why? When the child gets 100%, of course it's good. But if he doesn't get that, and so what? So these are some of the things that I want to just draw your attention to on the needless pressures we place on our children. Needless. Needless. Somebody tells a child, you will become a medical doctor in this family. And because you could not become, so your child must for sure become. You will be a lawyer. I don't want to be a lawyer. So can we have a very honest conversation on on suicide, on people's struggles, on people's distresses in life, and let them open up and share with us what this distress that they are experiencing is all about. Changing the narrative. So you see, it's going to really take us into various areas. Very interesting. Because we want to break down the barriers, as I said. We want to break down the barriers. We also want to be very much keenly aware of the signs of suicide, what to do, what to say, what not to say, how to carry yourself, how to support, how not to support all these things. And then create a culture of a safe space where people really understand others and they are not quick to condemn. We also will be talking about, real what we call systemic change. Ghana needs that. I have been in this field since 2008 till now. As of now, as a nation, we have no policy on this. We have no policy on this. The young people are taking their lives, young ladies who uh, mistakenly began experimenting with sex and got pregnant, taking their lives because their parents are making it a hassle for them. Of course, I'll not be happy if my daughter came from school and said, "Daddy, I'm pregnant." I'll be happy. But I will not kill her either. And I don't want her to die. But some of our young ladies who get pregnant really feel like killing themselves because it's a really, really hard time. Because parents make it difficult for them. And they are among child. Men who are losing their jobs, women who are looking for the fruit of the womb, or what we call, that's how in the Christian parlance we say, the fruit of the womb, who are looking to get pregnant and have children. They feel so broken, they don't know what to do. They want to die. Sometimes they will tell you, well, I don't know what to do. Sometimes I have feelings that I wish I were dead. All right? So as a nation, we need a policy. We need a national suicide prevention strategy. We don't have it. We don't have it. And why? Is it because people who kill themselves in Ghana are not important? Your guess should be as good as mine. It's simply because this is a deeply stigmatized contest. And so um, governments may not be very much enthused about this. But at least we are making some progress. We've seen governments Previous government did work on the code that criminalizes attempted suicide. Current government, we're going to be working with current government, hoping so. So we are able to also begin to put together a team that can fashion out a national suicide prevention strategy. So we need systemic change on this. We need churches to embrace talks on mental health, churches to see that people can have emotional struggles, pains, troubles. I'll be talking about all of this. It's very possible your pastor can be depressed. Pastor can have anxiety issues because of some things that are happening in his or her life. It's very possible for a pastor's son to have a mental illness or for a pastor's son to be emotionally stressed and strained. Very, very possible for a church leader, a church elder. Somebody asked me one day, Pastor, so do you get troubled? I said, very much. Very much. I'm a human being. And then I said, even if you call me a man of God, I am first a man before the of God. You get the point? Yeah. I am the man before the of God. So the prefix is the man. The first word is the man. So we are human beings. We go through challenges. We are limited in so many areas. So people are likely to experience life struggles. And when they open up and they are looking for support, churches should open up their spaces and platforms to embrace talks on mental health, talks on mental distress, talks on suicide prevention, how to prevent it, and how to provide support. And the triggers, all of these things, we are going to be sharing them with you. So these are powerful times. You're not paying for anything. Just go and buy a data and share the link, and you are good to go. Uh, it will be very helpful for yourself, your neighbor. So I'm encouraging all pastors, all church leaders. This week, I am with you. Share the link. It's live, and so you can share the link with somebody to join. Tomorrow we'll do another one, and so you can join. And so today I'm just opening up to a lot of the issues that we'll be dealing with. Now, let me just pick up on two more issues before we draw the curtains today, to tell you that something is going to be happening in the rest of the week between now and 10th of uh, September 2025. Right. So somebody was saying, Professor Fong, you people are the mental health experts, and I admit, yes, I am an expert. I admit, yes, I work in this area, yes, but please, I don't have all the answers. That is why in this field we say suicide prevention is every person's business. I don't have all the answers. I can't do every job. No, because I'm not omnipresent. I'm not God. I'm not omniscient. I'm also limited. Sometimes I can even get it wrong. That's why every one of you is very important. So you are a wife, you are a husband, and you and your wife or your husband, your relationship is being very stressful. Please, you're pushing each other over the cliff. One of you can be suicidal. I can tell you that on authority. What kind of marriage is that? It's been burdened, one trouble to the other. The other person harassing the other person, abuse, insult, no peace of mind. You are pushing the other person over the cliff, and something worse can happen, right? So all of these things, marriage is supposed to be bringing somebody into your romantic private space for support. Eh? The Bible says, for this reason, the man shall leave the father and mother and cleave unto the wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. But people come into the relationship and trouble left and right, fights. No. So marriage that is supposed to be help for you is rather a problem. It's rather a trigger for really disturbing emotional problems. It's a trigger for mental distress. And when it's not, you don't get support, then it's a trigger for mental illness. Very unfortunate. Don't think about that. And so people have just gone into marriages and they've rejected, others are leaving their marriages. They are tired. I didn't, somebody will tell me, I didn't sign for this. I have a friend who said, for better, for worse. Of course, what kind of worse is that? You get into marriage and the other partner wants to kill you. Uh, you have to revise the for better, for worse. If the person intentionally wants to kill you, you can't say for better, for worse. But all of these things, I'm going to be talking about some of them. We're going to be talking about triggers, very serious triggers in marriages that can push people to take their lives. And then this last issue, which will be, for example, uh, trying to understand the mind and the emotions and the thoughts of the person who is suicidal. Because people have asked me questions. What is actually on their mind? Can I ask you a question? Have you had a problem, you yourself? Have you had a problem where you felt like you couldn't think straight? You know, be honest. Be honest. Have you had a problem where you couldn't think straight? And that you made a mistake in your judgment. Now, if that is so, then please don't push me and say they don't think right. Of course, when people are suicidal, things don't go right as we would expect. Some things don't work the way we want them to work. But the most important point is that when people are not in their best of shapes, but they find themselves in the midst of multitudes, who is ready to reshape them? Think about that. When people are not in their best of shapes, but they find themselves in the midst of multitudes, who is ready to bring them back to shape or to reshape them? This is where you and I are needed so that we drop the barrier and the condemnation and the insult, all right, and the judgmentalism, and rather prepare ourselves and say, these people need help. So let's provide help for them. So, ladies and gentlemen, um, that is going to bring me to drawing the curtains. This is me, Reverend Professor Joseph Osafo Adu, um, an ardent researcher on suicide, an ardent advocate on suicide prevention, a passionate person about life, and somebody who is very committed to pursuing suicide prevention program in Ghana and the Africa region. I lead the Partnership for Life, which is an international association of suicide prevention, one of their initiatives in pushing the agenda of suicide prevention and changing the narratives and decriminalizing attempted suicide in this part of the world. I have been doing this since 2008. My passion is growing deeper. Its fervor and energy remains sharp, strong, and unchallenged. I'd like you to join me. Tomorrow is going to be very interesting. Invite your friends, invite your pastor, invite your pastor's wife, invite your mother, your father, because along the way I'll be talking about children as well. And so if you are a parent, how you can pick up signals of distress in your child when they are writing exams and when they are at adolescent level, they have reached that turbulent stage in their development, and how you can be of help if they are going through challenges. And bring on student leaders. And if you are a student, you're watching, just share the link. Once the link is shared, others will join. Come on board. We can put smiles on the faces of people. And remember, that suicide can never be an option in your life because the future is bright. Thank you very much. Coming your way same time, 4 o'clock prompt live. Share the link. Don't be absent. It's going to be very, very powerful, very, very, very nice, very engaging. I'll come your way some other time. It's shalom. Peace and life to you all. Bye bye. Okay.